Congratulations, you just sold your first beat and I know you're super excited about it. This is probably one of the most enriching, fulfilling emotions that a producer can feel. When you see that notification hit your email and you know you sold a beat, man, it's just like, you just want to jump out of your skin for joy. But what you do next is going to help dictate the course of your career. And today I'm gonna give you the 5 things you need to do after you get done selling your first beat. You ready? Let's get into it. Tip number 1 is you want to actually keep track of the money. Now, it's super easy to mix and commingle your beat money with the rest of your income from work and your side hustles and all that stuff in just one big pot and almost forget where your beat money is. Please don't do that. You know, if you need to even have like a separate account, try to do that so that way you can see exactly where all the money is. You know, it's a great way to keep track of how much profits, how much income you're pulling in from your beat sales just by having everything separated, and you could just watch the money pile up over time. And that's a great way to also set yourself up to reinvest some of the money into equipment and other things like that. Like even having a separate spreadsheet somewhere on your computer, like Google Sheets with the email and the name of the artist, where you met them, basic information to keep track there. This is a great practice, is a great habit to do and re-engage with the recording artist because you know you have similar sounding beats that you can offer them in the future. Tip number 2 is to stay in contact with the customer. With all the technology that we have, it's real easy to look at customers, look at artists as just another number or just another disembodied email that's just coming to us. But these are real people with real feelings and real goals and real marketing strategies for their music. You still want to stay in contact with them, you know, reach out to them, see how they're doing, offer them beats without the expectation of them buying because life happens. They might not always be in a beat buying mood. Maybe something happened to their tire. Maybe they have to buy uniforms for their kids. All these different things are going on. And just because you send an email to them doesn't mean that they have to jump for joy, click on the beat, know it's fire and want to purchase right now. Sometimes they might not even respond, download the beat and be freestyling to it in the gym or be writing a beautiful song to it, you know, while they're at yoga or while they're, you know, driving to work. Staying in contact with the customer is not always about reaching out to them to sell them something. It's about maintaining a connection, maintaining a relationship. When they're ready, especially if you offer them some type of deal, you'll be surprised at how quickly they jump at it to actually make the purchase because they heard the beat, they wrote the song, they kind of forgot about it, but then you offered some type of deal and then they were like, hey, you know, why not? This person keeps reaching out. This person is human, you know, why not get this beat? So stay in contact with the artist. Don't do what I've done quite a bit, which is have shiny object syndrome, where it's like I sell one beat and then I want to keep looking for different new artists to sell more beats to. That's a very bad habit. If somebody buys one beat from you, stay in contact with them because they might want to buy a track out, might want to buy an unlimited version. They might eventually want to buy an exclusive version. But if you forget about them and just get this, okay, what's next mentality, is something I've had to push against myself personally. You can maintain a much longer relationship in business and marketing. People call it LTV, lifetime value. So it's not always just about that $50 lease, that $25 lease that you just did. Congratulations, but there's much more that you can get by giving, being consistent, and being a real human with that person. Tip number 3, after you sold your first beat, is to reinvest. Yes, reinvestment is very important and it's almost an energetic thing. You know, I don't want to get too up in the clouds with it, but if you make money by doing something creative and you're able to set that aside, then you use that same money to reinvest in yourself, in equipment, in courses, whatever you want to do, software, whatever you're going to use that money for. Then you use that same money to generate and create more value. You can start to create your own little ecosystem that you're using to help people express themselves creatively. So reinvestment is about more than just getting a cool new interface or a cool new microphone, things like that. You're helping the same people who helped you by helping them right back. So don't get caught up in just getting that beat money and blowing it on, you know, shoes or fresh fly gear. I know it's tempting, but hold that money aside, use it to reinvest in yourself and your career as a music producer, so that way you can grow that ecosystem, grow that value, get your assets, and help build yourself as a music producer. Tip number 4 is to analyze what led up to the sale. Now, something that I've noticed recently for myself personally is reaching out to different artists on Instagram, letting them see my BeatStars, or just setting them beats literally out the blue. I don't know what happens, but it's like 3 months later, 4 months later, I just wake up to a beat sale notification. So I've had to analyze what led up to the beat sale for myself personally, and I can see the steps so that way I can recreate it in the future. So you as a producer who just sold their first beat, think about it. What led up to that sale? What type of interactions did you have? What are things that you can take from those interactions to duplicate again in the future? That's one thing where I always say give without the expectation of receiving, because once again, artists move on their own time and their own schedule, and just because you as a producer, you want to buy a new interface or you want to buy new monitors and you're pestering them and pestering them and pestering them, they can start to feel that, you know, used car salesman vibe. You just perceive me as another dollar instead of a real person who you're trying to help. Of course, we're charging, but a recording artist who takes their craft seriously, at least business wise, knows that they're going to be charging, you know, when it comes to performances or features. Even you don't even have to really be a big artist or even a big indie artist to start getting little bits of money here and there, here and there. They understand that it's a business, but at the same time, they still want to have that pure essence of creativity working with another creative. You're not like a Facebook ad person. You're not somebody who's doing something that's much more technical. You're a fellow creative, and that's why I bring that into a lot of my conversations whenever I'm interacting with you guys here on my channel, is because I've been able to recognize that, I've been able to replicate that, and I want to give that to you. So if you maybe notice by analyzing the steps that led up to your sale, maybe you noticed that you ran a discount, maybe you noticed that the artist started on your YouTube channel, then they went to your Instagram and they messaged you a few times, then they purchased. If you could see certain patterns, especially if it happens, you know, more than once, maybe 3 or 4 times, you can create a bit of a strategy that you can use to expand it, grow it, and make it predictable in the future. Tip number 5 is to collab with other producers. This might sound like kind of a weird tip or a random tip, but I promise you it's not. As producers, sometimes we are on our laptops in our bedrooms and we can kind of feel like we're the only ones doing what we're doing and experiencing what we're experiencing. That's not the case. There are other producers out there who just got done selling their first beat, second beat, that you have a similar sound to, and if you can create camaraderie and just create a relationship between the two of you, you two can start to grow and scale and expand that same success that you just made individually. So like the saying goes, many hands make light work, meaning that if you have more people working on the same vision, it can become much easier to reach that end goal. So the same thing holds true as producers. You know, reach out, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, you find a producer who's has your same vibe, is on your same frequency, try collabing. You know, if it goes well, it goes well. If it doesn't, you get left on scene. Again, don't take it personally. Life happens. Just give it a shot. You never know. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, make sure you hit like and subscribe. My name is Desmond A, and I'll be back with more great videos. Peace. Desmond A.